Everyone, thank you for joining me. My name is Carlos. Today I'm going to be talking about a subject that I have talked about before, but I feel that needs to be expounded on continually, which is the discipline of logging and tracking your workouts. Once you move on beyond the novice stage, say you've been lifting for a few years, you want to get better, right? You do have the goal to be as strong and as muscular and as well developed as possible. Then if this is not happening, perhaps it's because you're not logging your lifts. The importance of tracking and logging is paramount. It's determinant to be able to work harder than last time. At least it has been in my case. I've trained for many years without the logbook, clueless. I thought I was making gains. I thought I was making progress, but it's basically just really winging it, just very much improvising. Some weeks you go heavier, some weeks you do more, some weeks you do less. But keeping a logbook, and in particular referencing my leg training, the gains have come on every single workout for the last 14 weeks. And every time I start a new period of some specific goal, I always make gains. Somewhere, somehow, I'm making gains. I make improvements. Why? Because I am beholden to defeating the logbook. So say you're tracking your hack squat. You write down you did 3 plates, you did 8 reps for that session, you did 3 sets, whatever. You log that in. For the next session, when you come in, you have it written down that you're going to do 9 reps. It's not going to be 7, it's not going to be 8. You're not going how you feel that day. If you're motivated or not, you're committed due to your work ethic and your commitment to get better to do those 9 reps. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And you know you can do them. If you can do 8, you can do 9. Most people, if they're not under that constraint, they don't have that pressure that they put on themselves, may not go to 9. They'll just leave it at 8. 8 is good enough. I leave a rep in reserve. I don't want to go to failure. It's enough. But that over time is going to limit your progress. Whereas if you are continually making progress, if you're continually making gains, a rep here, 10 more pounds there, and you're just writing this down and you're planning your construction project, you're writing things out. It's like building a house. Would you just improvise? Yeah, I know how to build a house. You lay out the foundation, you put up the pillars, you're doing this, you're doing that. But you have like no blueprint. No blueprint whatsoever. You have a vague idea. And you have to be honest. If you're not really writing out everything and you don't know exactly what you are doing, you have a vague idea. Because the first thing that we need to be is honest. We need to be... Bodybuilding, physique pursuit, should be an endeavor of truth, of objective self-analysis, an exercise in introspection and of truth. Am I fat? Yes. Okay, so I need to do something about it. And then you change course and you do something about it. That's being honest with yourself. I'm okay. You don't know how to see yourself properly. And the same thing with the workouts. I'm doing okay. I work out well. Now, as an observer of gym goers, and every gym I go to, I see people exercising. I hardly see anybody, I rarely see anybody training. And so what's the difference? When you train, you are training for a specific goal. You are trying to improve on a certain lift. And I think most people think that that's what they're doing. They believe that that's what they're doing. Yeah, I thought so too. I would go in and bench press, and I would try to put on more weight, and I would try to do as many reps as possible. But without having the constraint of a structured program where you can achieve those increments week by week, you don't leave it to chance. You measure out your energy. You do a specific amount of sets. You're not improvising anything. You're competent to do it. If you're healthy, you will do and achieve your goals. So, keep a logbook. Keep a logbook. First time I ever saw somebody keep a logbook in a gym, I thought they were eccentric. I thought it was weird. I didn't understand what it was because that's not what you see. Because gym culture is about the most mediocre, ambiance and environment for progress that can exist. It is. It's not a environment to produce champions. It's an environment for the public to go and exercise. And few and far between you will find the people who are really devoted and want to get better, and so they'll hire a coach. Now, if you hire a coach, it's almost as good as if you kept a logbook, because the coach will be guiding you towards improvement, and you've already taken a step to ordering your path and to becoming better. You recognize that there's a better way of doing things, so that's a step up. I would still, and if he's a good coach, he'll ask you to keep a logbook, and so you can plan out your training sessions and see where you are. Okay, your triceps extension is at 85 pounds. You did 7 reps. We're going to try to work into the 12 to 15 rep. Once you get there, you've been writing things down. Last 4 weeks, you've been hitting your 15 reps. We're going to bump it up to 95 pounds, and you can track all this stuff. You can see progress over time. A lot of people might think it's too much work. It really isn't. I just speak into my cell phone when I'm doing the logging. Now that I do the videos, well, it's on the video, so it's easy for me. But before I did the videos, I go, triceps push down, 55 pounds, 11 reps. Difficult, little voice clip. There you go. When I got home in the afternoons, I would write out on my Excel sheet. I'd put on my voice clips. I'd write out my Excel sheet for the day, and then I keep track from session to session. I have a page for my different exercises, my different muscles. The overall, like, I got intricate into it because I had the proclivity and the time to do so. So keeping the logbook is paramount. It keeps you on track. It keeps you focused to making gains. It keeps you focused and committed to working harder than last time and not leaving it to how you feel that day. You go in and you perform. So that brings me to today's leg session that I will be presenting. Man, this is like the routine of routines, in the sense that I haven't changed anything on this routine for the last 3 months almost. I go in, I do 15 minutes of light cardio to warm up my legs on the Stairmaster. I squeeze my butt, I squeeze my quads, I'm flexing, I'm just moving, getting my heart rate up. And after the 15 minutes, I rest for a few seconds, a few minutes. I go and set up the hack squat. And I start with 1 plate, 2 plates, 3 plates, 4 plates, 5 plates, and I hit my top set. Then I back off set. My back off set down to 5, then down to 4. It's been the same. But every single time I go and do this session, I either hit a new weight PR, or I do 1 more rep here, or another rep here. And so the whole thing is getting better at it. Then from there, I go to the vertical leg press. So superior, in my opinion. Some people can debate. You can debate anything. You can say, no, this is better. No, this is better. To me, I have found that the vertical leg press is a more effective leg press than the 45-degree angled leg press. Some gyms don't have the vertical. Some are not the best apparatus to train on. Mine happens to have a damn near perfect machine that I am not going to pass up the opportunity to train on. It'd be like passing up the opportunity to train on the belt squat, which is also something that I would like to see at the gym, but very few gyms have that. But case in point with the vertical, the weight is loyal, the weight is true. If you have 5 plates on there, that's 5 plates. It's completely vertical. It's coming down with the sled. 500 pounds. You got 500 pounds, that's how much you are lifting. On the slanted, you'd have to do a equation to mitigate the weight that is lost on the angle. So 5 plates is not really 5 plates. It's much less than that. So what? You compensate, you put more plates. I like honest numbers. It's easier to keep track. But above and beyond that, the angle of the machine is very particular. It really puts, I'm a connoisseur of leg training, believe me. And it puts an angle on the quad where it breaks right up here on the hip, on the groin, that I don't feel on any other machine. And so for me, it's like just great. Very little knee stress at all. So that's working. And we've built up now to a considerable weight. 500 pounds is decent. Time to start moving on, hopefully. And then I finish with the Smith, or at least I finish my compounds with the Smith. So it's 3 big compound exercises. The last exercise is a difficult one. The Smith squat, ass to grass, as you will see on the video. Going all the way down, making full hip flexion, full knee flexion, straight back, the glutes way below parallel. And breathe and brace and lift the heavy weight. And why do I leave it for last? Because this was my strongest exercise. I'm not trying to make progressions on it. And so I leave it for last because I can use it as a masher. I take all the other exercises and I'm strong on this one, and it incorporates everything else I did before. It'll incorporate your adductor, it'll incorporate your quad, your glutes, everything. But since it's your dominant, super strong exercise and you leave it for last, you can perform it, and it's like, it like mashes everything up. It's like, wow, okay, my legs are cooked after that set, or 2 sets max on the Smith. And then from there I finish with the leg extensions. Most people start out with the leg extensions to warm up. I don't need to warm up. I did my cardio. My body temperature is up. I'm warm. I'm good. So I go straight to the exercise that I'm going to perform. I don't waste my time. I use the leg extension as a muscle builder, not as a leg warmer upper. I use it at the end to actually develop leg hypertrophy. And I am feeling the benefit of doing that. Of course, when I hobble to the leg extension machine after 3 different compound exercises, my legs are pretty much toast. And yet I can still perform leg extensions, right? I mean, anybody can. So here I'm building up progressions too, and I built it up now to a top set of 230 pounds, and I can feel every single muscle fiber in my quad just stretching. It's like I got to be careful. I don't want to tear something, but everything is pumped, it's tight, it's stretched. It's like just ready to just go home and rest, because that's like the 4th exercise. I know some high volume guys, they do like 5 or 6 exercises because you're going to include lunges on there and your leg curls. Sorry, my nose. So you can go. I used to do like 7 different exercises, but here, if you want, you want to make gains. Like you want to make gain. This is the most important thing. The muscle is like the most important part of the muscle building activity is contained within the set. Within the set where you perform your work. And that period of time is where you do your output. And you accumulate more and more sets to produce overall volume, but it's within the set that you create the stress and the intensity to stimulate muscle growth. So you want to get better at what you do within that set. Within that set, you're performing your maximum weight or your maximum reps. So the set is basically like the goal of improvement. You want to improve doing that set. And so that's my thoughts on the set. And my nose was just really itching right now. How embarrassing. So this is the importance of the logbook, keeping track of everything. It permits you to plan your workouts to a greater detail, to a greater degree, and to better focus on how you are going to improve on each and every session. The numbers do not lie. If this month you're hack squatting 6 plates and your top was 3 months ago, you could only do 4.5 or 5, you have made an improvement. And I would argue that you're building muscle. Because if your max was 4.5 plates or 5 and now you're doing 6, it means you're stronger. Now, if you're stronger, it probably means that you've been building up some muscle. And you haven't lost muscle. If you've lost muscle, you wouldn't be lifting heavier weights. You wouldn't want to, you couldn't, and you'd hurt yourself. So the logbook, math, numbers do not lie. If you are performing better than before, you're increasing your work capacity, your work output, you're getting better. You're getting better. So the logbook. Boy, I try to, help a lot of people with the logbook, and it's a couple, maybe like 1 out of 20 actually would follow this advice until one day they say this is important, and they get very committed to getting better, and then they'll do the logbook. But see, that's kind of reserved for people who are really, really focused on being successful. It's like, how would you build a business without accounting? Would you build a business without keeping track of your expenditures, of your bills that you got to pay, of your accounts receivable, your inventory? Would you build a business like that? And yet you're building your body. The most important thing that you have is your soul, is your body, you, from head to toe, what you are. For you, that's the most important thing that you have. More than your house, more than any external possession. It can all go up in flames. You'll still exist. But if you lose your existence and your quality of existence is diminished, how is it that you're not keeping track of the things to build your body? Now, people, I know we're lazy. We're just negligent. We're slothful. Sloth is a sin. It's an error. It's a big mistake to be lazy with such important tasks, such as keeping track of what you need to do to get better. On top of the logbook, comes logging in your food. That came later. Like, first it was logging in as, well, why don't I log my food? I don't want to know. Sure you want to know. And, you can track all kinds of things. You can become obsessed with that also and take things to extremes. I'm not speaking here to human pathologies, because humans tend to pathologize just about anything that's good and take these things and make them bad. I'm just saying that keeping track is beneficial. And if you keep track of your calories, your macros, you know that today you hit 250 carbs for the day, but you want to get lean, perhaps you should bring it down to 180. Yeah, so you plan. Oh shit, maybe I shouldn't eat 200 grams of rice. Maybe I shouldn't throw in that extra potato. Don't put in that barbecue sauce. No, because it's going to put me over my thing that I have charted of what I need to do today. But if you're not conscious, if you are sleepwalking this thing, then of course you're not going to hit your goals. Of course not. And of course, then it's not important to you. And of course, you make all kinds of rationalizations that, you just don't need to do this. And then, blah, blah, blah. And then one day you just wish you really had that body that you could have had, but you don't, because you didn't track, you didn't follow orders, you didn't follow advice, you didn't do things by the book. You try to wing it, and then winging it also, you start improvising, and then, you take a few weeks off or whatever, and the whole thing is just a lack of discipline. So, anyways, I won't rag anymore. Keep a logbook, track everything, and God bless you all. And may these words have edified somebody out there to know this is how it's done. God bless everybody. We'll see you in the next episode. So these leg sessions are the quintessence of routine. We're doing the exact same moves, the exact same schemata, the same approach week after week after week. Now, the benefit to this is added skill. You get good at what you're doing because of the repetitive nature of the action, and also you can build better. Like, I am making progress little by little every single week. Now, these small progressions add up to big gains. When I started this hack squat, it just felt uncomfortable. It felt heavy. 2 plates, it's not like an overwhelming weight by any stretch of the imagination. But being a new exercise, it felt resistant. It felt fairly heavy, uncomfortable, a bit hard to perform. 3 was my max. So my progression started out with 3 plates, and I worked them up to 12. And now, of course, these are the warm-up sets. These are the warm-up weights that I'm using to approach the higher outer limits. Now, some days or some sessions, I will incorporate a few extra reps in the feeder sets, but I decided not to do that in this particular case. I'm just going for range and stimulation, activation, and not trying to fatigue myself in any way, shape, or form, because I know what will come later are some very, very hard sets. So here with the 6, I usually just go for my top set, but it felt fairly, the 5 felt easy, so the 6, I decided to just try 1 and go with the 7 plates. Now, here with the 7 plates, it was impossible. It just felt absolutely overwhelming, too heavy. And so I dropped it down 2 plates on each side and went for my top set with the 5 plates, determined to get a PR. My maximum amount of reps with this weight is 9. And today, it felt like I was going to get it. I was feeling great muscle activation. My upper center part of the thigh was stretching, it was contracting. It was feeling very worked. It was definitely a muscular movement, not momentum or anything that could be, looked upon as cheating in any way, shape, or form. Even if I'm not even if I don't take 10 minutes to descend, it's still under control. Like, okay, that's under control, and then the explosive push upward, and there I got the 10 reps. So I decided to do the intensifying technique with the minimum amount of weight. I'll be building on this in the future. So here what we do is just pause at the bottom and explode up. Slow descent, pause at the bottom and explode up. Slow descent, pause at the bottom and explode up. And of course 2 plates after doing those heavy weights is very easy. And I will be incorporating this because I reached my limit with the weight. Those 7 plates showed me that I have touched on the outer limit. To proceed from 6 to 7 will require very incremental weight, very incremental approach, going up by 5, 10, 15 kilos, and eventually hitting the 7 plates, but cannot make the big jump from 6 to 7. So from there, we went to the vertical leg press, as usual, our second compound lift. And here, with the lighter weights, taking advantage of the ease to bring it all the way down, feeling the stress on the upper quad, on the hip, and the adductor, and just doing an extreme range of motion there. It's feeling pretty good. I used the lighter weights here more as a stretch, like just getting the massage, getting the leg to pump better, expecting full well the very, very stressful pressures of the higher weight. And so here, just building it up slowly, 2 plates, and we go up to 3 plates as usual, bringing it up one at a time. And it started feeling good. I kind of knew that I was going to be able to get a PR today, but you never know. And also this machine is, you have to be very careful with this particular machine. The adductor, if you get a twinge or a tear on the adductor, it can be very, very bad. Even though it's not easy to bail, but the pins, it has 3 different positions, so it's somewhat safe. Here we go up to the 4 plates. And feeling good. I was feeling satisfied with the hack squat. Changing my approach in the next few weeks, not going for the top weights. I won't be doing those 7-plate attempts for quite a while. And I'll continue to be working with the 5 plates and the back offset even lower with the very higher rep pause, stretch, pause at the bottom and exploding up. And here we go for our top set on the vertical, 5 plates. My PR on this was 6 reps. 6 reps. And here from the very start on the first rep, it just feels very heavy. Lots of pressure. Feeling pressure on the chest, on the abdomen, on my face. Just really pushing very hard. And here on my 4th rep, I knew that I had it. 4, 5, 6, and 1 more. I got the 6. I got the 7 there. So there we go to the Smith machine. Now today I had determined to go up to 3.5 plates. The last 2 sessions I've been doing 5 rep sets with the 3 plates. So today we're going to start off with a 1.5 plates. The pin was way too high. Bring it down a little bit so we can get greater range of motion. Do ass to grass, go all the way down. And to me, this is like one of the best sequences that I've ever used in my life, because this obviously is a very quad dominant move. Going all the way down, very quad dominant, coming off of 2 very heavy compound exercises. It just feels like the perfect fit. My legs are getting really pumped. They're getting, they're increasing in size. They're getting stronger, obviously. Now we go for our heavy set, 3.5 plates. And here, the collar of the shirt of the polo was giving me a bit of pain on the neck, and so that kind of threw my concentration off. And I did the set, I did the reps. I was going for 5, and here on the second rep, I said no, it's really bugging my neck, and I didn't. It just threw my set off. So we back down to 3 and try to perform a better set than last week with better cadence, better tempo, and that's exactly what I did. Going all the way down, nice pump, good stretch on the quads, keeping the back firm and straight, putting an emphasis on the hip flexion, and there we go. And as usual, we finish the session, finish the leg day with the leg extensions. See, most bodybuilders and most people that are doing these leg routines start off with the leg extensions to warm their knees up. I use cardio and very light sets, feeder sets with the hack squat. And I like to leave these for last because I do want to build on this machine, and build I have. This absolutely builds the quads, especially after the compound exercises. My quads here feel separated. They feel cramped, pumped, ready to tear almost, but not so. Just doing it very carefully. It's getting a very, very good contraction. So the weight progression here, I started at 130, went up to 170. Third set was 200 pounds. And here we bring up the pad closer to the knee, which gives greater leverage. And by better leverage, you're better able to perform the exercise and put greater focus on the quad. The longer the pad, obviously the more difficult, but in my opinion, it's better to shorten it and get better contraction and focus. And then on the last set, we went up to 230 pounds. This is a PR. I've never done this before, 230 pounds on the leg extension, and it felt great. So that's it. That's all for today. Thank you all for joining me in this journey. God bless everyone, and we'll be seeing you in the next video with better progressions.